It's me, the game Triple H, and it's time for Chatterson!
Hello everybody and welcome to this special edition of A Chat With. Well, it's not even really a chat with. It's not even best buds because I'm riding solo. I guess this is at Chatterson's appeal to AEW and its fans. Now, there is a big problem on the horizon with All Elite Wrestling, and I want to explain why. Dave Meltzer has already pretty much confirmed them as the number 2 promotion in America, regardless of the fact that they do not have a weekly product, they do not have television, and I basically still fail to see much of anything other than, a bunch of virtue signaling online from what could amount to little more than a t-shirt company at the minute. I know they've got talent signed to big contracts, but I still see them wrestling on independent dates. Neville, Pac, I have seen him work local shows in Scotland recently, and he's the man that's supposed to be the main event of this big Double or Nothing show they've got coming up, and it piques my interest as to why a company that's got $100 million backing them and can afford to sign someone like Jim Ross, who I don't even think really fits their product, but we'll get there later. If they can sign Jim Ross to their company, I want to know why they're risking their main event by letting Pac wrestle on independent shows at the minute and not locking him down into a deal where he would be able to afford not to work these dates and could possibly even be on a publicity run at the minute instead of endangering his body in the ring. Pac could obviously be out at meet and greets, meeting fans, doing signings, getting himself on radio and television to promote Double or Nothing. And yet instead he's out there breaking his body, potentially risking injury, and he might not even make it to the main event of that show. I hope that that's not the case. I pray for Pac. I pray for every wrestler out there and their health. These boys have worked for me. Boys and girls have worked for me over the course of the past 10 years, and I would never ever want to see any of them endanger themselves to the point where they couldn't compete, couldn't make a living for themselves. But AEW is running the risk of losing some of their matches by letting these guys go out there and continue to compete, not just week after week, but night after night. A lot of these promotions that they're working for are not television companies, so it's not on a taping basis or on a weekly basis. It's a lot of the time nightly. And I know they need to maximise their money. I would definitely not want to see them lose out of pocket on this. I think All Elite, if they are such a big bastion of social justice and are such a big, social justice force in the workplace, I think that they should be making sure that these guys get the money that they would be getting for not competing in the ring, at least not until they're working for All Elite Wrestling events. That's one issue. Another issue is, of course, the fact that they're still leading people along on a television deal which has not been announced. They keep mentioning Turner, TNT, some of these channels. And there is no indication that anyone is interested. And if they, maybe I'm out of touch on this. Perhaps something's been announced today or in the past couple of days, but I certainly haven't seen anything, and I think that that's got to be a worry when we're addressing, what All Elite Wrestling are going to be in the future and how much they're currently charging people for tickets to their events and how much they're selling merchandise for something that potentially could be taken down. There could be hitches. There could be hitches in this plan. Things might not run smoothly. And to charge that amount of money for something like that with no solid outline of a product going forward. I mean, I don't know what All Elite Wrestling is, and the fact that people are investing in it, and that's not coming from someone who's not interested in wrestling. My life is wrestling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week almost. I live pro wrestling, breathe pro wrestling. I might not have seen every show, I might not be Dave Meltzer, but the drive behind my life is to give back to the industry and make my living from the industry in a respectful manner. I would never expect anything from you guys without delivering something in return for that. You know, I would never expect you to invest in me without you knowing what I was. You know, I am perfectly open and honest about the things that I do and who I am. The fact that I'm about to spark up a smoke at the minute, you know, I would never hide. I would never hide who I am or what I'm doing. And I am completely crowdfunded, by the way. PayPal.me/Chatterson if anyone's interested. But that's the thing. I'm delivering what I promise. I'm going to get on. From now on, here's what I promise. I promise to get on this microphone and tell the truth and speak up for those who have got questions that need answered until my dying breath. I promise to continue building my clothing line. I promise to continue to always write. I promise to continue to provide everything that you would want from me. And if you want anything from me, if you need to hear about anything, if you want me to discuss or talk about anything, if there's a subject that you want me to breach even, I will do that. Without a doubt, without hesitation. And that's all I promise. There's no hidden agendas here. Oh, and I promise you a lot of love. Anybody who's taken the time to listen to this, I love you with all my heart. Critic or not. But AEW isn't just a guy with a microphone. It's $100 million backed company from the guy that owns the Jaguars. This is supposed to be a big deal. This is supposed to be big time. And I don't know what it is. Because it in itself is a hypocrisy. It sells itself on these traditional values of what pro wrestling used to be, and really embraces this carny side of wrestling. And so many AEW fans seem to want to tear the WWE down because they're like some evil monster and like some carny beast who is capitalised and profiteered off people and been so horrible. But the WWE has been a trailblazer in this industry for nigh on 20 years now. And yeah, they've made mistakes in that time, done some really horrible shit, covered up some real horrible stuff, but none of us deny that. None of us deny that. We are all aware of what the WWE does. John Oliver was saying nothing new. You know, I made a point about John Oliver. People thought I was talking politics, people thought I was talking about the point that he made. I wasn't talking about the point that he made. I was talking about the fact that every time there's a little thread to be, every time there's something big going on, there's a little thread to be pulled on, whether it's for the negative or the positive. My point was about Jon Stewart and the SNL guys and all those people as well. Wrestling runs to these B-listers, these nobodies, these people whose opinions don't matter, and try and latch on their success, and instead of trying to be the thing that people want to latch on to. And that should always be WWE's goal. You know? But that does not deny that WWE have innovated this industry, have been progressive. The Women's Championship main evented WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship. There's the wellness policy. You know, there's all this CTE help they're doing. A lot of these points have been utterly refuted. And yet we still want to take that down and go back to the carny ways of the past? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And then the other half of AEW is this progressive social justice, like fighting for social issues side, like we're the future. Are you the future or are you the past? Are you how it used to be or are you how it's going to be? You've hired Jim Ross, for Christ's sake. You know? You've hired Jim Ross. The voice of wrestling over 20 years ago as well? Nearly now? Since Jim Ross was at his peak. People who tune into All Elite Wrestling are going to hear that voice and are going to be turned off. It reeks of the past. It reeks of being dated. It reeks of being something of yesteryear. Everybody that you've got associated with it, except maybe, funnily enough, what's that guy, Excalibur? He's the only guy that's fresh on a main stage. Justin Roberts, old. Jim Ross, old. Conrad Thompson, he's traditional, but at least he's fresh-faced and new. Conrad Thompson and Excalibur are the only guys you've got. I don't even know why you bothered picking up JR or that other dude. Name recognition? Another carny trick? Another cheap out? Here's the issue with you, AEW. If you are the number 2 promotion in the world, then you are the definition of what wrestling outside of the WWE is. You speak for every independent wrestling promotion out there. You do. Because when we people go to a venue and we tell them that we're doing wrestling and they say like that, like, we're not the WWE, they know we're not the WWE. So if we're not the WWE, then we must be like AEW. So you better make sure that your shit is some solid fucking gold. Because everybody out there who is not wearing the banner in the WWE is represented by you and your actions on this mainstream stage that you've built for yourself. And it's not good enough having Joey fucking Ryan penis parties on there. And dick druids and bullshit. Did Dusty Rhodes live and die for bullshit, Cody? I don't think he did. Even in ECW, your father was respected and respectful of exactly what wrestling is. Fuck, when he was rocking the polka dots, he still fucking respected wrestling. He did his job. And he did his job to the best of his ability. Cody, your father is one of a kind. But you and your friends are out for yourselves. And in a big company full of people who are out for themselves, well, you might have a common goal to begin with. But you've seen Chris Jericho over the years. You know he's a hustler as much as I do. Chris Jericho's the biggest carny going. And if WWE doubled his money tomorrow, he'd be gone as soon as he could get out of your contract. And I feel like a lot of your boys are the same. They're with you now because you've got this cult of personality. You've got this thing going on. You've got this $100 million that you talk about. But when they finally realise that it's not lying in their pockets the way that you might have promised them, when they realise that equal pay does not really mean the pay that they would still be receiving in the WWE, you're going to lose that illusion fast. And you're also going to tar every other indie promotion with the same brush that we're all fucking dick grabs and bullshit and carny. Now I want my favourite promotions to end up on the main stage. I want Impact Wrestling and MLW and fuck, I want any promotion that I'm involved with, and you can try and blackball me all you fucking like. I ain't got a hope in hell anyway. I'm just a dreamer. I'm just a guy. Hey, if all I've got for the rest of my life is my microphone and my family and the ability to tell the truth, that's all I'd ever ask for. The support of the chat cats. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want you speaking for me. And I certainly don't want you speaking for any other promotion that I support. Because if you don't book solid gold shit, if you do not fucking lay a golden egg with this fucking goose, the wrestling industry outside of the WWE is in the biggest trouble it's ever been in before. You don't ever need to be the size of WCW and Claps to cause worse ramifications than them going out of business ever did. And that's the truth. So answer me. What have you got? What are you? What is your product? Tell me the truth. Because right now I see you conning a bunch of naive marks. And I hate using that as an insult, but that's what you are. You're putting your hand in your pocket for thousands of dollars for a product that doesn't even exist yet. If you can tell me why you are manipulating these people, if you can tell me what you're actually offering them in the industry, then I will put this topic to bed and I'll move on to something else. But until then, I'm going to scrutinise every little thing that you do. Because when Stephanie McMahon said that philanthropy was the future of marketing, you all guffawed and said it was bullshit. But here you are selling social causes like they're fucking candy. You're acting like a carny, working these marks harder than they've been worked since the 1970s, man. And they're lapping it up. And anybody who speaks out against you, you send that death squad against them like a fucking hand of fury. Like they're the right fucking hand, red right hand of fucking God. But I'll always stand up. The chat cats will always stand up. I'm asking you, clarify. I'm asking you, don't shit the bed on this. I'm begging you, for every person out there who's ever wanted to work in wrestling and independent level, well, in the future, whoever's working in it now and who isn't associated with you, who is going to end up being guilty by association if you fuck this. I'm speaking for all of them and I'm never going to stop. PayPal.me/ChatChatterson, at ChatChatterson on Twitter, at belly2bellyblog, belly2bellyblog.wordpress.com. Now I know I've just thrown a lot at you, but support, follow, if you need a voice, I'm going to give you it. I love you all. Never forget that. And always demand answers.